D.C., some restaurant workers say they deserve a raise up to $25 an hour, they say. A living wage they could depend on without relying on every customer and every tip simply to make rent. In D.C., that could make even the dinner check a political issue, which may not be a surprise in D.C. of all places. But some restaurant owners say if you push wages that high, it could push them to cut service, cut costs, or even close.
We're looking at the elimination of the middle market of restaurants.
The warning is serious, but not every restaurant owner believes it.
I'm thinking of opening another one. I don't have any plans to close any of them.
So who's right?
Every change that's occurred that the restaurant industry has spelled out doom and gloom for has not happened.
The debate over the minimum wage for the district's tipped workers is heating up again.
A lot of empty seats and a little bit quieter, and that's tough to see, especially in some of your favorite restaurants. And you look around and you think, how are they going to continue like this?
As you weigh your choice of where to spend your money on a DC dinner, our News 4 foodie, Un Yang, weighs in on what she's hearing from her sources in the DC restaurant industry. Plus gives you 4 places you've got to try this summer.
Can't go wrong, but the fried chicken is the winner.
It is a great trip, I promise. This is For More Context, your seat in the News 4 newsroom for a conversation about how we check facts, break stories, fight for answers, and hold each other accountable. In the last 5 years, 2026 is one of the best or one of the worst?
For us,
Yeah.
it's been one of the best as far as being able to serve our community.
Yeah. Why?
Because we have such a resurgence of people coming to the restaurant and enjoying our food.
People are coming back.
Yeah, people are coming back, for sure.
Hans Ravesteijn is an accountant by training, the co-owner of Perry's, the Adams Morgan staple, by choice. More than drag brunch, more than sushi, Perry's has maintained its spot on any list of DC favorites. And now in its 5th decade, Perry's recently won a DC Rammy for the best casual upscale restaurant. 42 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
And still winning awards.
Yes, it's amazing. We just won the Rammy.
Another favorite, Perry's.
Wow, thank you.
Kind of rewarding to see that after 40 years, a neighborhood restaurant can still be relevant from the 80s.
What's the secret?
What's the secret? Having amazing staff.
What do you see on the horizon?
What makes me nervous is how this is all going to unfold, how the minimum wage is going to unfold, how inflation is going to, what effect it will have on the restaurant. It's not just suppliers, it's electricity, it's gas, it's water.
Your rent.
Rent.
The tough times you're talking about, what does it mean for me as a diner?
Well, that means that, you know, specifically in the district, we have seen some policies that aren't aligned with the realities of today's restaurant industry.
You're talking about wages.
I'm talking about wages. And it's a sensitive matter,
right?
Because we want to make sure that people get paid. And to be clear, folks in our industry are getting paid well above the minimum wage, well above the tip wage. And I think that's one of the misconceptions of the industry is that folks are making $5 an hour, $10 an hour. In fact, in DC, the average tip worker is making about $30 to $40 an hour.
Tipped workers, like the servers in your favorite restaurant, typically make a far lower minimum wage and then add your tips on top of it to make up the difference. In 2022, voters in DC approved a referendum, though, that would raise that minimum wage for tip workers gradually to eventually reach the normal minimum wage.
DC residents have repeatedly voted in favor of raising the tipped minimum wage, but now, and for the second time, the mayor and the DC council are considering overturning that measure.
As it went into effect, some DC restaurant owners said it could sink their business. And last year, DC Council and Mayor Bowser paused its full implementation. The Restaurant Association praised the move. Shawn Townsend's their president and CEO, and he told us that simple pause likely slowed down restaurant closures in DC last year. This isn't a casual concern for you.
It's not.
The association, I believe, for the first time endorsed in the mayor's race.
Yes.
You're being very vocal in your opposition to it and even further increasing the tipped wage here in DC.
Right.
Why?
Well,
Why be so vocal?
I think that we have to be. DC is.
But why is the wage such a risk for you?
So, in terms of cost of operating a restaurant, there's rent,
Yep.
labor,
Okay.
and then food, in that order. That means that you've had to adjust, you've had to figure out how to make ends meet, or, as we've seen over the past 3 years, close. Because the money's not there. The margin is already so thin. That's not a Drake punchline, by the way. The margin is really thin in the restaurant industry. And some people just can't, the model just does not make sense for them.
And you recently said, the association did, that you believe closures of DC restaurants slowed down because DC Council paused increases in the tipped minimum wage.
I might lie, women might lie, but the numbers don't, okay? And what the numbers have shown over the past 3 years and 6 months into 2026
Yes.
is that the common denominator amongst the 3.5 years
Yeah.
is the policy change as it relates to labor and the impact that it's had.
You believe that?
Absolutely not. After we passed I-82 and the wage started to go up, we saw actually the highest level of restaurant industry job growth in the history of DC restaurant industry. That was put out by the DC Budget Office. We saw the highest level of tipping. Actually, right after it passed, DC was marked the highest place in the country for tipping averages in the country. Yes, and the wage did not have any impact.
Saru Jayaraman runs One Fair Wage, a national group looking to raise minimum wages across the country and eliminate that two-tier wage system for servers in restaurants. The group was working towards a November 2026 ballot referendum in DC to raise the minimum wage to $25 an hour and gradually raise that tipped wage to get there together. They didn't make the November ballot deadline, and now they're pushing to get it on the ballot in the spring of 2027 in DC. And why should they support it? DC's minimum wage is already pretty high.
Oh gosh, no. No, oh gosh, no. If you look at the MIT living wage calculator,
Yeah.
the least MIT economists say you need to live in the District of Columbia, even if you have no children, is actually way above 25. It's closer to $30 an hour. If you have one dependent, and that could be a spouse, a relative, or a child, you need more than $30 an hour. And that's right now.
Yeah.
Our initiative phases to 25 over many years. So by the time we get to 25, it will be way less than a living wage.
And what would it do for restaurant workers who today work in that two-tiered system with the tip minimum wage?
Well, DC voters have voted to end that two-tiered wage system so many times. They've voted for this twice, and each time they had their democratic rights stripped from them by a council that was frankly beholden to the National Restaurant Association.
As you talk to folks that are friends in the restaurant business, was this the comeback year?
It was not the comeback year. It was the opposite. I think
Really?
the restaurateurs and the chefs have been saying that this has been tough. They thought it could be a comeback year, but the government shut down the economy and everything that else is going on in the city with immigration enforcement and the presence of federal officers on the streets has really hurt their business.
Do you notice it as a diner?
To some extent. Depends
How?
on where you go. Empty tables.
Yeah?
And being able to walk in and being surprised that you can get a reservation. And that's tough to see, especially in some of your favorite restaurants. And you look around and you think, how are they going to continue like this?
How are they?
That's a good question. I don't know, especially considering the wages are going to go up in DC.
It'll be devastating for restaurants. I think that we are in a position where we're looking at the elimination of the middle market of restaurants, full service dining. We're moving away from that. And I think that, we're seeing faster casual. Fine dining, I think, is going to be okay. But taking a family of 4 or 5 to sit down for a meal, it's not going to be a thing anymore.
But why isn't that a rising tide that lifts all boats, Hans? Why isn't that everyone makes more money?
Well, yeah, that's great. I'm all for that. But then we'll have to charge more money.
How serious a concern is this? Meh, or a crisis?
No, it's not a crisis, but I see things having to change. Things will have to change. I think the ones that are going to have a lot of problems are the smaller ones, the smaller restaurants, the mom and pop restaurants. I think they are going to they don't have the revenue that comes in to cover these additional expenses. That there's no in-between. The in-between is going to go away, I think. I'm afraid of that. Yes, in the restaurant business. Yes.
That middle place.
That
place where
middle.
me and my wife and our kids could go.
Yes.
Not for a special time, but just for a Friday night.
Sit down and you have good service, a friendly conversation with your server.
Yep.
I think that might disappear.
But help me be a better news consumer then. Because when I hear from my neighborhood restaurant owner or the Restaurant Association in Washington that this is really going to hurt the places that I love, what's the question we should be asking? How should we hear that?
Look, there's always fear of change. And Andy will be the best person to tell you restaurants often they're afraid. They operate on guests, maybe, difficult margins, so they're worried. But the truth is that every change that's occurred that the restaurant industry has spelled out doom and gloom for has not happened. Every time the minimum wage has gone up, the restaurant industry said it's going to be the death of restaurants. Hasn't happened. Every time the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers has gone up, it's going to be doom and gloom. Hasn't happened.
Tell me what I don't see, right? Because if I come out to a neighborhood like this, we're on 18th Street in Adams Morgan.
Yep.
I largely see a successful neighborhood with tons of restaurants. What don't I see?
The back of house, the administrative piece. You don't see operators juggling, robbing Peter to pay Paul, literally. It's a balancing act. Restaurateurs these days are responsible for knowing so much and doing so much just to get through a week.
Is this a battle between owners and servers?
I think it's a battle between reality and what people think is happening in the industry.
But who are you fighting?
I don't think it's a fight. I think it's ensuring the public is aware of what's happening in the industry.
If the economy has changed, that means less people are spending money at restaurants. That means less people are giving tips to workers as they are going to do, which means workers actually need to rely more on a minimum wage than before.
We have a new mayor. We have new leadership. Janice Lewis George was a tipped worker herself, has been a champion of this issue. We have new council members that have been champions of this issue. I think we're going to finally see a living wage for all in DC, which, by the way, is not alone. We just submitted signatures for a $30 wage in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area. 30 is moving in New York. 30 is moving in Hawaii. 27 is moving in Illinois. 25 is moving in Pennsylvania and Maryland and Michigan. DC is not alone in the midst of an affordability crisis where voters and workers are saying we need a living wage for everybody, no exceptions.
How many of your 9 places are you thinking of closing if this minimum wage goes up?
Why would I be thinking of closing them? I'm thinking of opening another one. I don't have any plans to close any of them.
Because we're told that's what restaurants like yours will have to do.
Well, I was told that when we were stopping smoking, that we were going to close restaurants. That never happened. So I think I understand people are scared. I understand the doom and gloom. I get it. But I also feel like people need to sort of take a leap of faith at some level and make sure that they adjust their pro forma to match the new world. And again, if you want to see a city where people can actually live in, then I think this is the right thing to do.
Andy Shallal founded and runs the DC staple Busboys and Poets. He's no stranger to the ups and downs of the DC restaurant business. We met him at their K Street location, where he was hosting a meeting with Saru and offered to give us his opinion as well. How long have you been in the restaurant game in DC?
I've been in the restaurant business since 1987 in DC. And before that, I was in the restaurant business since 1975.
Is it easy?
It's never easy. I don't think any business is easy.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting, it's fun. I wouldn't do anything else.
As a percentage of your cost, or as you rank your costs, how big is labor?
It's over a third.
Wow.
It's over a third of cost, yeah. And that's gone up. I mean, that's gone up over time. Yeah. But also, you have to become more efficient. You have to think more creatively. Yeah. You have to offer items that may not be as expensive so that your food costs can drop. And if you can make up for it with a percentage here and a percentage there, you can actually supplement.
It takes a little creativity.
It does take creativity. Right now, a lot of times people don't even think about that. They think of the decor, they think of the menu, they think of hiring the chef. They don't really think about what they're going to pay their people. They just look to the right, look to the left, and pay whatever else everybody's paying.
If DC voters approve a $25 minimum wage that eventually gets rid of the tipped minimum wage, this two-tier system, what's that going to do to your business?
If it's one business having to do it at a time, if it becomes law, then all businesses have to actually play on the same level playing field, which means they may have to raise prices a little bit. It's not going to be doom and gloom. It's not going to be like you have to double the price of a burger. It's going to be maybe adding 50 cents or $1 per burger or per item, let's say, on your menu. And that should be plenty to be able to cover the amount of expenses you'll have from that. It's a progressive idea. I do believe that most people would say that that's the minimum they need to be able to survive in DC, to pay their rent, to eat. And I'm not talking about getting frivolous, buying, a Porsche, or something like that. I'm talking about the basics. So $25 to $30 an hour seems like a very reasonable amount of money if we are to have a city that's equitable. The other part I think that's important is that we have to begin as businesses, as anyone, with the end in mind. What kind of city do we want to see? Do we want to see a city where people can actually afford to live in? Do we want to see a city where a mother has a child can actually find affordable health care? All of that, I think, is really important for us to begin with. And once we start with that in mind, then we can adjust everything else to match that.
Not the easiest time for restaurants.
No.
But are there still great places to hit?
Absolutely. There always will be a place to go that's going to give you a great experience.
And how did you pick?
I don't know, places that make me feel good.
Yeah, which means?
Great hospitality, not just great service, but great hospitality. And you feel like you've had a good, satisfying meal, and you walk out feeling, okay, I'm coming back.
Our colleague Eun-Yang is more than just some casual diner. The DC restaurant scene is her beat here at News 4. She talks to owners all the time and has told us about the tough times they face. But she's also the first person I turn to for a great recommendation in DC. All right, so 4 great spots.
Okay, let's start with a DC classic. Red Hen in the Bloomingdale neighborhood. Great Italian food, great service, great vibes. The chef and owner, Mikey Friedman, is tops, and his executive chef, Robert Kane, is killing it over there.
And is there a can't miss thing that I have to get?
Off menu, cacio e pepe. It's not on the menu.
Okay.
There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You. 2.
Buna Coffee House in Petworth. If you want your coffee and breakfast done right, but do not sleep on the Ethiopian dishes on the menu.
Number 3.
Cielo Rojo in Tacoma Park, Maryland. I love Mexican food, and this is where you go for all your favorites. You're gonna get your tacos and your enchiladas, your carne asada, great guacamole, great margaritas, and a good old time.
What's the first thing you get? Sit down and I say, I want
a margarita.
Salt, no salt, rocks or ice?
Salt, rocks, and the guacamole.
Same way I do
it. It is the only way to do it.
Which brings us to our 4th spot.
Last but certainly not least, Maquetto on H Street, one of DC's best.
And it has been going on 11 years now.
Yes, unbelievable.
It's great. It's good for them.
2015, truly Eric was one of the pioneers of H Street.
Walk me through this menu and tell me what are the must-haves.
So I love Maquetto because it is a community space. You can get coffee, you can get food, you can get cocktails. It is open morning to night, and there's Cambodian and Taiwanese influenced food, and can't go wrong. The bao is so delicious, the dumplings are so delicious, but the fried chicken is the winner.
Where you choose to eat and how much the people who work there earn is no casual conversation. There are serious questions about who pays, how fast wages can go up, and whether the places that make our city unique can adjust fast enough to survive. I can assure you, you'll hear an awful lot more about this. If you like this kind of context, and we sure hope you do, there's an awful lot more of it to check out on the NBC Washington YouTube page. Like it, subscribe to it, tell us what you think in the comments. Until we meet again, I'm Ted Oberg from the News 4 I-Team, and you can find me anywhere on social at TedNBC4.